Good evening, everyone. So, my topic for the next video, for next session, is insulin secretagogues, that is, insulin releasers. These are the oral hypoglycemic agents or anti-diabetic drugs, which I'm going to discuss with you. And before starting my video, I'm going to request you. I want to request you that if this video appears useful to you, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, that is Dr. Nitika's Pharmacology Discussion. So let's start with insulin secretagogues. Now, oral drug therapy for type 2 diabetes mellitus, it is the sulfonylureas and meglitinides which come under the category of insulin secretagogues. Insulin secretagogues are insulin releasers, that is, which will release the insulin from the beta cells of the pancreas. And these insulin secretagogues function only when there is more than 30% of the beta cells in the pancreas. If the more beta cells are destroyed, more than 30%, uh, then less than 30%, more than 30% are destroyed, then that will not lead to the action of these drugs, that is insulin secretagogues. Means at least 30% of the beta cells of pancreas should be present in the pancreas for the action of sulfonylureas and meglitinides to occur. Now, sulfonamide in typhoid, these are obtained from sulfonamides in typhoid, sulfonylureas, and the cause the side effect as hypoglycemia, as they are just similar to insulin. That insulin also cause hypoglycemia, and these drugs, sulfonylureas, they also cause hypoglycemia. And these have been divided into first generation and second generation. In first generation, we have the drug chlorpropamide, tolbutamide, acetohexamide, and tolazamide. These are first generation, and second generation are more potent. These are glipizide, gliclazide, glimepiride, and glibenclamide. These are the second generation sulfonylureas, and these are more potent than first generation sulfonylureas. That is, chlorpropamide is the most common first generation sulfonylurea. Tolbutamide is short-acting, completely absorbed, less likely to cause hypoglycemia, and it is preferred in elderly. Second generation agents, these are 20 to 100 times more potent than the first generation. Commonly used in clinical practice are the second generation sulfonylureas, and glimepiride is the most frequently prescribed agent. Mechanism of action is basically, this action is that on the beta cells of pancreas there is GLUT transporter present on the surface of beta cells of pancreas. Glucose will be uptaken from the blood into the pancreatic cells by the GLUT transporter. This GLUT transporter will transport glucose from blood inside the pancreas, and this glucose, it gets converted to ATP in the beta cells of pancreas, and this ATP, on the surface of beta cells of pancreas, there is present potassium sensitive ATP channels, and this ATP formed in the from the glucose in the beta cells that will block the potassium channels, and thus there will be more inflow or more retaining of potassium channels inside the beta cells. And when the potassium channels are retained inside the beta cells, there will be depolarization, and this depolarization will lead to opening of the calcium channels, uh, and that will lead to an influx of the calcium ions from the outside into the beta cells. More potassium and calcium channels will lead to increased depolarization, and when the beta cells are depolarized, they will release insulin from the vesicles, and the insulin will release outside, and that will lead to conversion of glucose into glucagon. Now, the mechanism of action is that stimulates insulin release from pancreatic beta cells. I've already told you insulin release from pancreatic beta cells. They are secretagogues, and they reduce hepatic clearance of insulin. They reduce the hepatic clearance of insulin. And on initial administration, plasma insulin levels are increased. Insulin secretion response to glucose is increased. On prolonged use, circulating insulin levels return to pre-treatment levels, but reduced blood glucose levels are maintained. Circulating insulin levels return to pre-treatment levels after some time, but reduced glucose levels are maintained. Mechanism of action, these are potassium channel blockers. I've already told you this insulin scitagogues, these are potassium channel blockers. In the pancreatic beta cells, they allow influx of calcium, which causes increased release of insulin, and the inhibition of glucagon release is there. And extra pancreatic mechanisms are they increase insulin receptor binding affinity, increase the insulin's effect by post-receptor action, and decrease hepatic insulin extraction. That is, they decrease the hepatic insulin extraction also and increase the insulin receptor binding affinity. Now, this is how the mechanism of action is. From the GLUT2 transporter, glucose enters and glucose gets converted to ATP by the anaerobic mechanism. This ATP, it blocks the sulfonylureas. Sulfonylureas block the potassium channel ATP sensitive channels. So more potassium will be there inside. This will block, more potassium will be there inside. And then that will lead to depolarization, and calcium will also enter inside, and it will release the calcium from the vesicles, and from the insulin granules, insulin will be released outside. And release of insulin will convert glucose into glucagon. Pharmacokinetics, similar spectrum of activity. All are absorbed in the GIT. These drugs like second generation and first generation, these are absorbed from the GIT. Food and hyperglycemia retard absorption. Highly plasma protein bound. Second generation sulfonylureas have short half-lives, 3 to 5 hours. Hypoglycemic effects last for 12 to 24 hours, and these are metabolized by liver. Uses are, these are to control the hyperglycemia in type 2 diabetes mellitus, non-managed by diet and lifestyle changes. More effective in patients more than 40 years. And overweight patients, these are not given because these can cause weight gain. So these are avoided in overweight patients. They cause hypoglycemia and weight gain. So these are avoided in overweight patients. So these contraindications are type 1 diabetes mellitus, pregnancy, lactation, hepatic insufficiency, renal insufficiency, severe infections, severe stress or trauma. These are contraindications of sulfonylureas. Adverse effects are hypoglycemia. Longer the half-life of the agent, the more likely it is used to induce the hypoglycemia. Displacement from binding sites by other drugs can exacerbate the hypoglycemia, and it's also known to cause cholestatic jaundice and disulfiram-like action. And they also increase the ADH release from hypothalamus, so they have the water-retaining action. So they also cause delusional hyponatremia, and these are also known to, these second generation sulfonylureas are also known to be used in the treatment of diabetes insipidus, in which there is excessive urination. Plus diabetes mellitus also, nausea, vomiting, hemolytic anemia, hypersensitivity reactions, these are common side effects. Sulfur and disulfiram-like action because they inhibit the aldehyde dehydrogenase enzyme, so more acetaldehyde is accumulated in the body, so that will lead to withdrawal symptoms, adverse effects. Dosage of glibenclamide is 2.5 to 5 milligram. Daily dose is 5 to 15 milligram. Glipizide is 5 milligram. 5 to 20 milligram is the daily dose. Gliclazide is 20, 40, 80 milligram. 40 to 240 milligram is the daily dose. Glimepiride is 1 to 2 milligram, 1 to 6 milligram is the daily dose. Now next is the miglutinide analogs. Under the miglutinide analogs, there are drugs like repaglinide and etiquinide. These are non-sulfonylureas insulin secretagogues. They directly stimulate first phase insulin secretion in the pancreas. These are short acting, rapid acting, and short duration of action. So the action is known to be caused within 1 hour. So these are very effective in postprandial hyperglycemia, which occurs 1 hour after intake of the food. So these are very effective in treating the postprandial hyperglycemia. Directly stimulate first phase insulin secretion in the pancreatic beta cells. Alternate to second generational sulfonylureas. Common dose effects it will be same like hypoglycemia is there, rapid respiratory tract infection, rhinitis, bronchitis, headache. These are most common. Thank you. I hope you understood my lecture on insulin scetagogues. And if you have understood, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, that is Dr. Nitikan's Pharmacology Discussion. Thank you. Happy learning. Be happy. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you.